Hi, welcome to the Drum Speakeasy series. We're here today with Karen Pascoe from Mastercard. Karen, can you give us a little bit of your background and what you do at Mastercard?
Sure. So I'm the Senior Vice President of Experience Design at Mastercard, and what I'm doing is I'm actually focused on the design of consumer and customer experiences as payments are transitioning in the digital world.
Great. And so what are some of the initiatives you have going on this year that you're really excited about?
Yeah, so I'm really excited about the work that we're doing to secure e-commerce checkout. So it's called Secure Remote Commerce. So it gives consumers the ability to pay safely and securely, and we're standardizing it in e-commerce as well. The thing that we're doing that's really great for consumers is after you set the service up, no more passwords.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Looking at and focusing on the traditional side a little bit more, where have you seen pitfalls or huge challenges that they've had to face?
So if you think about a digital transformation, what you're really doing is teaching an old dog new tricks, right? And so if you've been incredibly successful in how you've been running your business, and you've got a great P&L, and you've got a great brand, and you've got a great business, you have organizational muscle memory, right? And so in transitioning into the digital world, all the digital transformations is that you really have to learn new tricks, right? So for instance, the big banks are all building up design teams and design organizations, right? UX designers, where they really haven't had much of a strategic capability with that over time. You're seeing the rise of chief design officers and chief experience officers in these organizations. That's an example of the newness of the skill sets that legacy institutions really need to do, in addition to all the technology work that they need to do.
All right, so we've spoken a lot about what you do in the financial services space. Are there brands that you follow within that you don't maybe work with personally that you think are doing a really great job, or even brands outside of the space that you really watch?
I think the brands that I'm really looking at as being the beacon for the future are the brands that have woven themselves around the customer from the ground up. And one of the best examples is in financial services, but they're so delightful and they do such a wonderful job that I think about them as a real standard bearer for consumer delight. It's really Warby Parker. So what Warby set out to do is actually disrupt the eyewear business, because the founder didn't want to have to pay $800 for a pair of glasses he left on a plane, right? So they've disrupted, right? And there's lots of talk about disruption, but they disrupted by passionately being focused on their customer and then really around how customers engage with them.
Interesting. Yeah, I have my Warby Parker. Okay, so talk to me a little bit about, we're on the heels of 2020 going into planning right now, or at the end of planning for sure. So what are you really kind of excited about going into next year?
So I'm definitely excited about us continuing to provide advanced security and biometric data into the work that we're doing for consumers. So we've been doing a lot of acquisitions and organic growth around cybersecurity in general. And so we're starting to incorporate things like behavioral biometrics in the phone to really securely understand who the consumer is. So whenever a consumer pays, we really need to answer three questions. Who are you? Are you actually you? And what can you do? So the first question and the third question in payments and in financial services is actually really easy. All the systems are wound up around that. But what we're doing in the digital world is really looking to make sure that we can answer that, I'm me, I'm Karen, I really am Karen, and do that safely and securely in a way that's almost invisible to consumers. But for our purposes, the ability to be able to do that at scale is just really going to lock down the security for consumers in the digital world.
That's really interesting. So do you have a couple examples of how you're leveraging that kind of back end that the consumers don't see?
Yeah, so if you think about an iceberg, right, you have all the stuff that's visible on the iceberg. And the stuff that's visible to consumers is, look, Mom, no password, right? And that's great. But the only way we can get, look, Mom, no password, is really the things below the waterline, right? It's really the advanced analytics. It's really the work we're doing around behavioral biometrics. It's really the work that we're doing around identification, technology in general, that's giving consumers that delightful above the waterline experience.
Well, Karen, that's really great. Thank you so much for coming. You had a ton of great insights, but it's been a pleasure having you on the Speakeasy series today.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, great meeting you.